again, everyone. How you doing, Americans, everyone? Or the paraphrase from what Elaine on Seinfeld used to say, I can't beat the Van Wyck. No one can beat the Van Wyck. Anyway, I happened to catch something on the other day about how the whistleblower basically calling out General Flynn and another general, basically lying on a lot of things. Now, you guys been following my videos. At first, I was a big General Flynn supporter, but when things were not adding up, I became very skeptical of him. And I really began not to trust him, to the point where if he knew so much, this guy should have been dead. Seth Rich knew about 10% of what General Flynn knows, and he was killed. And somehow General Flynn is still alive. Regardless, who did General Flynn endorse for Trump? Number one, Kash Patel. And if you've been following my videos, you know I'm no longer a big Kash Patel fan. And number two, Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes, since he's been CEO of True Social, has failed miserably. Everything he promised True Social wouldn't become, they have become. They said they wouldn't censor, they said they wouldn't do that to the other outfits. They're doing the same thing. And I think Devin Nunes has been saying for a while, needs to be fired. General Flynn also endorsed Kash Patel.
Continue on I-678 north for 1.5 miles.
What did Kash Patel say? Day one, the Epstein files would be let out. Now, Kash Patel talks a very good game, has been talking a very good game, been on a lot of shows, talked a good game. But, I mean, what's it been? Trump's been in office, what now? Almost 90 days, I think 87. He's been in office, what now? I would say about at least 80 of those days. Nothing. Between him and Pam Bondi, sorry, I don't trust him any longer. I'm starting to think Kash Patel is just like everyone else. He has his own agenda at hand. And the only thing he looks for is his Fox News moment. Or his social media moment. He goes, he's talked a good game around a lot of podcasts on the internet. But I'm sorry. Where are the Epstein files? Where's the Epstein case? Starting to think Kash Patel might be one of them. So is Pam Bondi. What's taking so long? Even Dan Bongino. I was excited about Dan Bongino because I didn't trust Kash Patel. But even Dan Bongino says, just because you don't see nothing happening doesn't mean nothing's happening behind the scenes. Okay, cool. You know what? We heard this the first 4 years of the Trump administration. We don't want to hear that no more. I want to see people arrested. I want to see people perped walk on national TV. I want to see trials. And I want to bring back Old Sparky, the Guillotine, and the Firing Squad. I know the other day, I think both Kash Patel and Pam Bondi said they arrested someone else in connection with all these Tesla terrorist bombings and what other crap they're doing. 6 arrests in almost 90 days. 80 days, 90 days. At this rate, I'm going to be long gone by the time I round up everybody else. Alright? Enough of the psyops. We had an administration first time full of psyops. We don't want psyops anymore. We want to see action. Now I'm hoping they prove me wrong. I really do. But right now it seems like even though Trump got rid of a lot of the swamp and didn't bring back none of the swamp in the first term, it seems like there are still quite a few swamp members around. You heard me talk about Paula White, the spiritual advisory board of President Trump. And I will say this again. There was never a spiritual advisory board or a pastor that surrounded leaders in the Bible. The only things that surrounded leaders were prophets. True prophets, not sorcerers. I'm going to go there. Paula White is not a prophet. She's not a pastor. She's a white witch. Yep, I said it. Paula White is a white witch. Sorry. I'm going to say it again too. There are no female pastors or preachers in the Bible. And I'll be damned if I'm going to listen to a woman who's not been divorced not once, but twice, and currently on her third marriage, married to an unequally yoked believer. But as Lance Warnow said on Steve Bannon's show, he basically said we got the king's ear. Which frightened me because Trump is not knowing a lot of stuff he should know about. And a lot of stuff he should know about, people like Paula White are going to stop him. Try to stop him. Now listen, don't get me wrong. I love Trump. I voted for him all 3 times. I would vote for him again. Trump has a heart as big as the United States. And he loves this country. The problem is Trump also has an ego about the size of the United States. If this country is to continue, if this country is to be freed from slavery from the deep state, there are just certain things that need to be brought to the light. 1, the Great American Theft of 2020. We need to know what happened, how they did it, and people need to be purple walk. A lot of people. 2, the old Charlie 19er, and you taking one for the team for the greater good. There's a disconnect there, and a lot not even on Trump about what's going on with that. And I'm telling you right now, Trump ain't careful. This is gonna come back and bite him very hard in the ass. And he's gonna be humbled. Listen, he's already been humbled a few times already. 2 assassination attempts. 2 of his relatives died from taking one for the team. And he still isn't seeing it. And I'm thinking that spiritual advisory board has a spell on him. Don't forget, even though Trump didn't mandate the shot, thank God for that, because he'd be in much greater trouble if he did. He endorsed it. Now, is there a setup behind that? Maybe, but the problem is now you've played with too many people's lives. We're in the 2nd term already. Enough. Enough already. Now, if you think I'm speaking bad about Trump, no, I'm just calling the truth here. Sorry. You gotta speak the truth. When it comes to stuff like the military and the economy, man, I trust Trump all the way. In fact, when it comes to quite a few things, I trust Trump. But those two incidents I just mentioned, as well as the J6 and the stuff that needs to be exposed from that, until we start finding out stuff on what really happened, who was behind it, we're not free. Even with Trump in here now. And my goodness, I hope Trump isn't brought down to his knees and humbled the hard way. Especially with the old taking one for the team. I can't help to think that all these plane crashes right now and all the pilots who are forced to take one for the team are not suffering maybe cognitive ability from it, as well as people on the road. Because I'm telling you right now, I drive for a living now. Actually, I've been driving all my life, but
In 600 feet, keep right to stay on I-678 North. Follow signs for Whitestone Bridge, Bronx.
now I'm driving really full-time for a living. The amount of cognitive ability on the road with a lot of these drivers, the way I see people just cross a double yellow line on a bend in the dark, it's unbelievable. The way people just pass a school bus with the flashing lights. There's a lot of aggressive drivers. I'm starting to think, did that all really ruin a lot of people's cognitive abilities?
Keep right to stay on I-678 North.
Or did they mess with their chemical makeup or DNA to the point where maybe they're losing it? I don't know. And there's a fourth thing I wanted to mention. I can't remember what it is. I already told you about the Charlie 19er and taking one for the team. I told you about the Great American Theft back in 2020. January 6th. And the bullshit behind that.
Continue for 10 miles.
With my luck, I'll remember later. Oh my God. With the insurance things that have come out on what happened since, the amount of people who have gotten sick, very young too, I think it's about to come to a head. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping there's a treatment out there to stop the effects of the old or at least stop it in its place. And I'm going to say it again. Between all the crap you're dealing with in Washington, that I'm going to call them the Spiritual Advisory Board. I'm going to call them Satan's minions. Yep, that's right. Franklin Graham, Paula White, Lance Walnu. Yep, sorry. They're Satan's minions. I don't care if they call him pastor. I don't care if he's the son of the late Billy Graham. Doesn't mean nothing to me. There's a disconnect with Trump on a very few important things. And from what I see, I'm not sure if he thinks he's drained the swamp as much as he has. Because right now in his own cabinet, right now, I'm not scared of Kash Patel. I think he's a trash talker.
There are police reported ahead.
Same thing with Pam Bondi. And listen, as much as I like Kristi Noem, I know when you go out there looking like a supermodel dressed in hoopy earrings with a ton of makeup and you start pointing your finger at terrorists, I mean, I can't take you that seriously. Now, I'm not saying you're not doing your job well, but there's a little bit of disconnect when you go dressed like that and you go do something like that. Sorry. Now, RFK Jr., I do take seriously. He's been on this for decades. This has been a passion of his. I do like him. Tom Homan. who's handling the immigration roundup. I'd be scared of him. He doesn't play around. But good Lord, keep the president in prayer. That spell needs to be broken. Listen, this could be a King David moment for Trump. I don't know.
There are police reported ahead.
But just keep the man in prayer. Comments down below what your opinion like to know. Keep the country in prayer. We'll talk to you later.